All right. Good evening, everyone, or good morning, depending on where you are at in the world. My name is Simon Bevy. I want to welcome you back to our 17th episode of Sober Sunday. This is a forum where we get to talk about different conversations that affect us every day. And we keep it real, and we have very stimulating discussions around what men want, what women want, about parenting, about love and money. And today, that's what we are talking about. Last week, we had a wonderful conversation around that topic, the money factor in relationships, among couples, and in dating as well. And we had very good conversations. Lots of you are asking questions, and we want to invite you today. It was from a lot of you who asked if we could repeat this and take it further. So this is not a repeat, it's actually a part 2 of love, money, and relationships. And so we are glad to have Kalechi Mumo that was with us last week. We're glad that you're back, Kalechi. And today you are representing. You look bright enough. So
thank you very much for having me. It's an honor and a pleasure to be back here to have a great conversation. And yes, the Kamba in me has to represent.
Those of you from other nations, some of us come from a certain tribe that really enjoys brightness of color. So that's what we're talking about. So Kalechi Mumo is a media personality. She's a CEO as well. What do you call that company again?
KM Network, which is a digital network providing content for various platforms.
Excellent. And we were to have the Moridis who were with us last week, but they asked me to give their apologies. Unfortunately, they had a bereavement in the family the last 2 days. And so they are busy with that. We would ask, I know many of you were looking forward to having them today. We would ask for you to pray with them as they handle that. Pastor Moridi lost his sister 2 days ago. And we were with them. They are encouraged, but we ask you to pray with them as well. But we were able to get my good friends. They were here, at least the man was here a few weeks ago. A lot of you have called me. Even today, someone called me and asked me about him and what he was doing. And I shared the details. And so I know that they were the best replacement, and we're going to have good conversation. So let me invite you, Mr. Leonard Cheryl. He runs Savo. Is it Savo Limited or Savo
City?
Savo City. And some of you remember we talked about the awesome floods, and we're going to be mentioning later that they are doing. And yeah, I am part of their family. And today he's joined with his wife. We're going to ask very good questions around how they have gotten here without killing each other. So we're going to have a good conversation around that. So Mr. Leonard, let me invite you and you can introduce your bride.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, Mchungaji. It's a pleasure to be here again. We were laughing just before the session that I'm hanging out with a superstar, 2 superstars. It's a great honor to sit in the place of the Moredis is wonderful. They are our mentors, so it's wonderful to be here. And today I'm not alone. I'm still in the village, but I'm not alone. So, karibu.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I think it's an honor to be here. I mean, that this was supposed to be Pastor Carol and Pastor M, and we are the ones who are here. I think that's a great honor. So thank you, Pastor S, for just considering us. And I hope and pray that we're going to have great conversations even as we share from our lives. Yes.
Well, thank you. And yeah, out of your lives, you will definitely share, and we will learn a lot about your challenges, but also successes around money. Well, let me invite those of you who have joined in. I see many of you already in. We want to invite you to host a watch party. We also want to say that on Savo page, we are live, and on Kaleche's page as well. And so we're glad wherever you're watching us from either of those pages and other Transform Nations pages, you're welcome. And we want to ask you to invite your friends. We're going to have good conversations way beyond where we left last week. Before I come back to you, Kaleche, let me start off the couple by asking them a question. No romance without finance.
Mm-hmm.
Has that been true for the two of you? Does that work? The way you guys started off, how was that?
Should I go?
I could try. I could attempt. We started from a very, I'd say a very, very humble beginning. I mean, we both come from families that had very good fortunes when we were younger. But by the time we were meeting, things were a little different, things were a little difficult. So we started as very simple people. And all we could see is potential. When I met him, he was an architect. So that's all I could hang on to. But I don't think it was like at the forefront of our minds at the time. I mean, we just met, we were friends, and we loved each other, and we started at that point. So yeah, so we started from a very, very humble beginning, but just grew over time and to become who we are. But you know, we grew. None of us had anything to start with. So we grew together, and everything we've done, we've been able to do it together. Yes.
Okay. So let me ask you, Emily, before even Michelle says something. So when this man asked you out, did you check out how much he had? Was that a serious consideration?
Not really, not at all, not at all. I mean, he asked me out, he had red overalls and they had paint all over. Yes, so clearly not. Clearly not, yes. There was no indication that there was anything behind the man at the time. But yeah.
So it was love first and then money second.
Yeah, in fact, Pastor S, just something that I'm sure she does not remember. It was 21st of September, 1999. Today's 20th. So,
all right.
There was no finance, but there was, I think there was potential for finance.
Yeah.
We sized each other up. We were both extremely broke, but we were both extremely hardworking. Yeah. So somehow we knew it would change.
Yeah.
So love first, yeah?
Love first, yes.
Okay, Kaleche, is that what's happening with you ladies these days? Or is there a lot of money first and then romance comes later? You know, there's a clip that has been doing the rounds where this guy comes, you know, on his skates and he talks to this lady and says, you know, can I buy you coffee? And she says, no, I don't date people who are running around on skates. And then he walks to his nice car and opens it up, and the lady runs after him. You know, he's like, now we can date. Now I see what you have.
Yeah. So, oh wow. I mean, I think having listened to the Mcharos and how they're talking about their experience, their time, I mean, I'm thinking maybe they were around the same age. You know, either we've just finished Cole or Campo or something. I mean, were you at the same moment? Because I think back then things were simpler. What we're seeing today, what we're really seeing today is that with the influx of what is going on social media and also mainstream media, a lot of the girls seem to be thinking that what they see in movies, what they see in music videos is real life. And so therefore now, because there's this breed of women who are trying to show that I've got it all and there's somebody who's financing my life, then that means as a young woman, I need to get what that person I see who I love and emulate and want to be like should, you know, is leading the path. So there's some place where I would say there's a misconception, you know, that is happening. Because today, if I speak for myself, I'm in my 40s. So of course, when I'm meeting somebody, having lived my life up to now, there's a track record I've been able to build that I'm hoping that the person I'm meeting has built. But if I was back in my 20s, I'd not be expecting somebody to be financing or to have all these things, and we're at the same level. How did he get it? What was he doing? You know, like, which God is he praying to? I'm not praying to. I'd be very suspicious of what's going on. But right now, what we're seeing with a lot of the young girls is that they seem to be looking for something that has been painted for them and not asking the right questions of, okay, you're Kaleche, I like you, I admire what you do, you've got your thing going, how did you get there? Because then I'd be able to tell them how the journey has been long and hard and all the things that I've done. I didn't wake up like, you know? So there's a misconception somewhere. And true indeed, all the young girls I speak to all seem to think that if there's no money on the table, there's no conversation at all.
Yeah. And you know, I am sure you're speaking to them as well, because we used to watch a program those days, which was A Rich Also Cry. You know, you could get married to money and you have little romance. You actually cry every night. So I think what we are saying here, it's about love. And once love is there, then you begin considerations around money. But you begin to say, then how do we handle this money? So that then it doesn't just become about the money. It's about love. And as we do love, then money becomes an important factor. So let me ask Kaleche, you know, let's stay with you a little bit. You have talked about you are in your 40s, right? And you're looking to get married, and of course you have earned your space right now. You've done a business and work, and you have some money. What would be acceptable for you in terms of a man who comes and wants to date you? Let's say, you know, he has a struggling business, but he is committed to business. What is a no-no for you, and what is, let's try this?
Wow, on the spot. So all the viewers who are listening, if you are potential, let's have a discussion. Anyway.
You can give them leakage, yeah?
Wow. No, but I think having gone through business, having had my own failures in business, having struggled through different aspects of my life, I do know that it is not all just, you know, a sailing through kind of situation. And so it would be very presumptuous of me to imagine that I'll meet somebody who has everything just laid out and made for them. Given the way the last 3 years in our country specifically, and now the world has been, it would be impossible for me to imagine that. So for me, what I'm discovering about myself as I continue to meet people is that your intelligence and what you think about, you know, what your plan is for the future, where you want to go, even given that your circumstances are that you're struggling now, that conversation is more attractive to me than your supposed money situation now. Because my money situation may not be as good as well. And because I'm in the limelight, a lot of people assume that therefore we are, you know, these very rich people, we have all these things going. All we have is the fact that we are in your face, and therefore we look a certain way. But that doesn't mean that that's what my bank account is speaking. So I think right now I'm more concerned about what are your values. I'm more concerned about what is, you know, is God at the top of your list? Is that the person who you are seeking to consult with in your life? And then I'm like, where is your mind placed? What do you really want for yourself? What's your purpose? Those are the things that are more attractive. Yes, we agreed last week that money is viewed as a security for women, and it's viewed as a security because I don't want to be in a position where I feel I'm not secure, and because I have worked, I want to bring mine to the table. And then you start saying, there goes you media people, the way you just, like ruling over us. You want to bring your strength here. And that's not what I want. I do want to be taken care of. I want somebody that we can grow with, even if I'm in my 40s. I know that the remaining years, I want to be able to grow with someone towards something. So that's how I look at it now at my age. Vis-a-vis, have you talked to me in my late 20s, early 30s, this story would have been very different.
I bet so. I bet so. So let me ask them, Charles, when you started off, was your money married?
I don't know. Let me maybe try and paint a quick picture. Let me summarize 22 years in 2 minutes. We met in 98. She came and sat at my desk. What could I do? She just added letter to sat at my desk. When I found her doing accounting, there is ex dividends, cum dividends. Me, I got her cum dividends. Yeah. A year later, I asked her out. And in campus, things were so thick for both of us, but especially for me, that she had to buy my food most of the times. Because we started out as, the first year we were just pals, and then we became now boyfriend, girlfriend. And she just offered to buy me food. But see now, unakula because you are hungry, after a while you get a bit embarrassed. So what she would do, she would buy the food, leave it in her room, leave the key on top of the door. She knew I would come when she's not there. I would come, cry, eat, then go. Then, and then we I don't know, we got a child before getting married. So, and we were Christians, so that was a whole different mess. The church was still, the Nairobi chapel was still very young. So we threw, I think, the leadership into complete confusion. Moved into Kino, some place called 87. The time we live on faith, hope, and love. There was no money, no food. Mother's power has been cut off for a few days because of a 500 bill, But we worked harder. I got a job, earning 15 Gs. I had Kalichi last week saying she started with 8K. So, I think you know the feeling. But as we started, I'm earning my 15K. I think where the money getting married comes in. I called my mom. I said, what do I do? This money is so little. Where do I start? And she said, you know what? Give it to her. Give it to your wife. Give her everything, and then she'll give you bus fare. I think that is one of the most important advice I ever got. So she said there are two things. One, women know how to get a lot from very little. But number two, she won't bother you. She knows you've given her everything. So she will not come and ask for more. So she has it all. Well, to date, she handles 100% of our finances. So that's how married it is. I used to hear on radio people saying, oh, wanaume wengine wamekaliwa sijui nini nini. I don't know, I'm one of those guys.
But you are happy. Aren't you happy? You're happy.
So happy. Yeah. Careless with cash because I'll give it all away. But she's an accountant in CFA. She's an economist, accountant, CFA. She knows what to do. She knows what not to do. So we have found a language that works well, because then that guided how we invest. Even now that we're working together, it guides how we work together.
So let me ask, because I'm sure some of the men are going to ask shortly, how do you trust a woman that much? Because they could take off with the money. They could be buying, their 110th shoe, while you're still on the only shoe that you have. How do you trust a lady that much? Shouldn't you be more careful and put aside some of the money for yourself and have some controls? That's what men would ask.
A legitimate question. She'll give her point of view. A very legitimate question. I am fortunate that I don't care for money. Very strange, seeing that I'm in business. For me, money is a game. I like playing the game. We have been fortunate to make quite a bit of it. If she runs, and she can, because she controls all the finances in the company. I don't sign anything. I'm a signatory, but I don't sign nothing, even with the business. I keep laughing that she takes away takes off with the money, I will write a book. I might end up doing it. I will write a book of lamentations. Yeah, but I don't know. I have never had trust issues on anything. So I don't know. Maybe don't try this at home all the time. But yeah. Yeah, but I don't know.
Unless, I think unless you trust the other person very much, and we want to hear our perspective, because I know, Emily, you have talked with other women, and I'm sure some of them have found you very strange as a couple that you do that. But I think to me, what you're bringing out is that if you don't trust someone enough, then you have no business giving them your heart. But once you've given them your heart, both of you are in this to do this together, to do life together, to raise children together. So you sort of trust one another and know that we're going to work together. And of course, the faith aspect, I think there's someone, billionaire Brian Macharia has said, how has your faith impacted on how you do things as a couple and even as co-founders of business? And I know you're going to answer that at some point. Billionaire, I think that's what he calls himself, Brian Macharia, here on chat. But Emily, tell us, how have you lived with that? Do you find it strange with all the stories you hear about other women who never get to know how much their man makes and what he uses them for and all of that?
I'd say first of all, I didn't meet Ncharo when I was a grown woman. I was very young. I think I was about 18 when I met him. Wow. And our friendship has...
At least you were 18. That's good.
I think I wasn't 12.
I was not much older.
Yeah. So we've really grown together. And in the process of growing together, I've come to know the kind of man he is. I've come to really trust him, and he is my friend. I mean, remove everything else, he is my very good friend. So that in itself puts a lot of burden sort of like on me to just also be his friend. And what would a friend do? What would leave that we're married? What would a friend do to another friend? Right? And then, I mean, we started with little, but we trusted each other with that little from the very beginning. So even as possibly the monies have increased or the responsibilities have increased or the burden on me has increased to sort of like just manage the finances, it hasn't changed the person that I am, because he's my friend. I love him. I know who he is. And when somebody trusts you fully, I think it's actually a heavier burden on me that I never do anything that would breach that trust, right? So I'd say just that, and perhaps even just that God has helped us to remain faithful to another, when it comes to finances. That I've had stories out there, but I don't get moved. I protect my husband with a very big cage, when it even comes to conversations with family or with friends, I will protect him. That's my role. Yeah. So for nothing else, I will always protect him. And even from myself.
Let me dandy a little there.
Yeah.
So not give you the wrong impression. She has earned more than me, I think most of our lives. Rather than at the beginning when I had a job, because I was always a hustler. Yeah, I'm an artist, dreamer. I was busy creating this big thing in the future. She worked today, so she was in the corporate world. So most times she earned more. So even when I was giving her everything, well, most of it was hers anyway. Yeah, so it was much easier that way. Yeah.
Wow, that's so. Does she give you some allowance so that you also have some private money that you can buy the rest of us some lunch?
Yeah, I get a stipend.
Oh my God!
Excellent. Many of you are reacting.
I need to ask them a question.
Yeah, sure. You're going to do that. But just to say, there are many who are reacting to that story. Some saying it's so powerful. Some wondering how you do that. But others say maybe it's because you started out very early, and others saying that's very deep. At what do you get trust, a lady with money as a man? Someone is asking, what do you need to look at to be able to trust a lady with a man? But we're going to get back to that. Let me get Kaliche to ask a question, and I'll ask you one after.
Okay, great. So, I mean, I am so excited to hear your story, because there are a lot of people who needed this story today to know that it is possible to have trust and to have friendship like you have. But to Emily, I just want to ask, like, you know, when you are starting this friendship out and you are there, you know, giving him food from the beginning, and things became tough, you live together, there's nothing that's really coming out, you have days where you have no money. What made you stay? Because a lot of women today will say, I am not getting the security that I need from the person who's supposed to lead our home. Why should I stay? And yet I have the power to do these things myself. So what made you stay?
What made me stay? Let me put it this way. My dad was the man. My dad was total man. Yeah, total man. But he died when I was 10.
Okay.
He died when I was 10. Of course, his legacy lives on. You see us, you see my father. However, from I was 10 and we are 19 of us.
Wow.
The last born was, I think, 10 months. And the first born, I think, was just getting into campus. So perhaps 18, 19 there. These are 19 children. I have 3 mothers, and they took care of us entirely. They provided for us. We all went to, you know, if you wanted to go to campus, you went to campus. We never left. And so those women were my role model. I have never looked at life as if a man is my security. No.
Wow.
I think I can wear the pants, I can work hard, I can fend for myself. And I think you get more, do I call it validation? Or, you know, I think you as a person feel better about yourself when you can take care of yourself. Yeah. So I didn't look at him struggling at the time and think I have made a wrong decision. No, I knew he is an architect, he'll pull through. If he doesn't pull through, I am here. One of us will pull through and we will be okay. So I've never looked at him as a man as a source of security. And I think for other ladies as well, if you can change that perspective, women there's so much greatness in women if they allow themselves to just go out there and be who God created them to be. But for as long as you look at a man and think a man is your security, I think that's unfortunate. And a man will respect a woman who is able to put something on the table as well. Yeah.
Wait, hold on. Majority of the men today, or at least what my experience has been over the last few years, is that they are afraid of a woman who has the ability to provide. They say, wewe ni manga, you cannot be controlled because you think you have the power. So then, now, Leonard, you talk to me here.
I have to comment. If a man is not confident enough in his skin, he's not worth, God forgive me, he's not worth your time. If he's not confident enough in his skin, he should be confident enough, regardless of the woman how much money the woman he's married is making. That's besides the point. You as a person, who are you? What's your identity? And stand by that. If this woman makes more money, the merrier. The family is better. But so long as you're looking at yourself, the woman has to be down here so that I am a man. No. You will struggle with a man like that. Run away.
Hey, I've been running.
No, I love that. I think what you're saying here,
put them down. No.
What we are saying here is that why money becomes a big issue in terms of men feeling like if she earns some and she has her own money, then she will not be submissive. And why sometimes women then begin to look at men as their providers is number one, the women are insecure in who they are. And actually one of our programs, EZA, which is a training for women, what we say is that an authentic woman stands securely in who she is. Yeah. If she's not secure in who she is, then she's going to be controlled by every man, every rich man who comes around, because she's chasing after the security of money. She's not secure in herself. So she becomes like a reed, in the sea that is being tossed by the wind. The same with men. If a man is not secure in who he is, even when the woman earns nothing and stays at home, he will still be threatened. He'll still be threatened. It's not the money, it's the character. Money can only be managed well by a person of character, whether it's a lady or the man, right? But Kalechi, before we come to you, and that was a great question. Someone has asked, this. Mcharo, were you not threatened by your wife earning more? That's what someone is asking. And how did you, this is Stacy Nafula, is saying, how do you manage not to be threatened by your wife earning more money than you? How do you make sure you're not threatened? And then she says to Emily, how do you manage not to rub it in his face due to the fact that you earn more than him? The man first.
Okay. Maybe by the time I was meeting Emily, I don't know, my early 20s. My childhood was, I went through some transitions in life that gave me a very deep inferiority complex. So maybe the second half of primary school, I moved from the village to the city. It was very confusing. But I went to high school. So during that time, all I could trust was my brain. I knew I was good at passing exams. So I was a short, awkward little boy. And, you come to Nairobi and all these kids are making fun of you. I knew I'd beat these guys. I didn't know English then, but I knew if I spend more time, I'd beat these guys because I have a brain. And then I went to high school and I met a lady called Sister Maureen. First class, she taught us social education and ethics. And the first lesson was, who am I and what can I become? And I learned the Johari's window and stuff like that. So using Sister Maureen and a cousin of ours called Frida, sorry, I need to mention these people because they played a big part. I learned to be confident in myself. I am short, so what? I have a big head, so I can't do this, so what? So by the time I was meeting her, I think I'd gone through quite a bit of that. And I had a preacher, this guy from Bahamas, Monroe.
Miles Monroe, yeah.
Yes, he had preached and said, brothers, if your woman makes more money than you, spend it. So by the time I was meeting her, I had such so we started by, I would earn and she was not earning. Then she started earning, then she would earn more. But by the time she was earning, we had an investment plan. Yes, by the time she started earning, we knew we were going to invest. So there was no surprise. So both of us were pushing us, and we knew if she could work harder in the corporate sector, because we'd sit down and strategize. You're working in this company, they are paying more, but you can't get a loan, so you need to move to another company that can do, we'd strategize together. When she got a promotion, I celebrated my investment because I was the dreamer. My investment plan had a financier. So I don't know. Not once did I ever feel threatened. I think I had learned how to just be comfortable in my skin and move. And then I had always wanted to have a strong woman because I knew I could dream, I knew I could push, but I knew I was disciplined. I needed somebody who could set the record straight, who could say, okay, this is the way we are going, and tell me no. And then I have a side of me that is a bit lazy. So I need somebody who could wear the pants because I'm also a proud man. So I know, okay, if I'm lazy, she will take over. I need to earn her respect. So that has somehow pushed, instead of me feeling small, it actually
wow.
Yeah. And I think that's a good point, because it says complementarity is a key. You get to know each other's strengths, and then you allow the other person to play to their strength for the benefit of the union. Emily, quickly, before we come to Kaliche, did you ever rub it in?
Did I?
I can't remember.
when he starts joking around, you tell him, remember, I've always earned more than you, so be careful.
I think having a clear investment goals really helped, because I never got excited about the money. The money came in, and there was something it was going to pay for. Either it was paying for the land, or buying materials, or we're building. So constantly there was somewhere the money was going to, and that therefore didn't give me time to feel there's more, or I didn't have time to sort of spend time thinking about how much money I was making. Really, I spent more time thinking, how much more can we make to be able to achieve our investment goals? That was priority in my head. One, two. The person I became had a lot to do with him. So everywhere, if it was promotion,
that moment.
So if it was change of roles, if it was promotions, if it was struggles even in the office, a lot of those things, the success sort of I made or achieved, wherever, was because of the man who was, let me not say behind me, but besides me, that he encouraged me. He saw potential where I couldn't see potential. I mean, first thing when I met him, first days, he told me, you're going to get a first class or else I won't marry you. Who does that? And I got a first class. Yeah.
So she got a first class, I did it. But it's okay.
Okay, you pushed her. You knew she would make this work for you.
And I needed her to succeed. You have to give attention, but you also see how does it benefit me.
Emily should have also pushed him back and say, no first class, no marriage.
Look at who he is today. I mean,
Anyway, that's great. Kalechi, let's come back.
So a lot of who I was because of him. So I perhaps I would say I owe a lot to him as well. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you. And to many of you are writing. There's just so much that most of you are responding to. We're so glad that you've joined us and you're watching. Let me just say, at Transform Nations, we have different programs. We have EZA, which is for the ladies, where we talk about security. We have Man Enough as well. Wonderful program. We are doing it right now online, a few hundred men in it. And we want to invite those of you who want to join it online. All of those details are on our page. But also we have Intentional Dad, which is for fathers to get to know how to raise their children well, especially this COVID season. And Intentional Mom, which is for the mothers as well. Just this week, we are launching a new Boys to Men. Yesterday, we celebrated almost 250 boys who have been mentored for the last few weeks. There were boys from different countries, South Africa, different nations. And just to see those boys talk about how much they have learned. And, many of them got to confess to their parents some bad things that they were doing, things they were watching online. I mean, it was just tearful as we listened to the stories of the boys and how they have changed in the last 6 weeks of mentorship. So we're starting a new one in case you have a boy between 7 and 17. Then you could sign up your boy. We have a limit, so you could sign up your boy on our page and you will be able to do the mentoring. So welcome all of you. Kalechi,
yes.
This is a new season. There are a lot of ladies who, for practical purposes, have to look at the money issue. But we're talking about character coming before money. Saying if a man doesn't have character, then he is going to be a terrible person in terms of romance and in terms of how he handles his money. It's like money is a revealer of character. And if you're bad character, then it's going to show off. What are some of the mistakes you have seen these young women that you talk to a lot make around this dating and money?
I think some of the mistakes that I have seen revolve around, first of all, not knowing who they are. And I like what Mchara said, because he's talked about, you know, he knew his own weaknesses. He knew what he needed to complement who he is to make it better for his life. So if a lot of them are living vicariously over somebody else's life, they have not taken the time to know who they really are and what they really want. So then they think that it's money they want. They chase the man with the money. They still get hurt. Then they come back to ask us, but I mean, he hurt me, so I need someone with more money. And you know, I tell them it's not about the money. It's about, first of all, who are you? What do you, what, even if you got all the money in the world, and then if this person is mistreating you because now he's given you the money and he could tell, like we said last week, a man will know very well if you came because of his money. That only. He'll just give you a little and watch how you behave. And then he can do what he wants because you've shown him that that is your weakness. So a lot of them are not working on self. They're not working on self and understanding, okay, who am I? What can I do within my own limits? Just like Emily said, a woman is very strong and very powerful. She can do so many things and is able to multitask in so many ways that therefore she's able to manage the finances, manage the home, manage this, manage that. She can still go to school and still have children and still manage all these things. And whereas a man, and I correct me if I'm wrong, gentlemen, but when you guys fix your goal, you'll go one this way first before we start going this other way before we go this
focus. One thing at a time.
Exactly. That's exactly what you call it. You call it focus. Now, for a woman, we are gladly blessed. We thank God for it, that we are able to focus in different directions and not drop the ball. We know our limit of not, you know, to drop the ball. So now, when I talk to these young girls, I find that there's it's like a trend. That thing of no romance without finance is a trend. Half of them don't even know why they are saying it. Half of them don't understand what it means to imply that you need money to make this relationship work. Because you know, you ask them, okay, so like I said, you get all the money. Is there still love? Are you even talking? You know, are you having a conversation? Like now with the pandemic, how many relationships have you had where they are not able to even sit in the house and they're saying how coffee is messing them up because they now have to face each other for the first time. So I feel like most of these girls' mistake is refusing to realize that one, they can do it on their own. And there's such joy in being able to say, I did that for myself.
Yeah. I love it. Let me just come before I go to the Mcharos and you talk about your business as well, because we want people to use their money to buy some good houses before they date. But Kalechi, this is a true story. I'll change the name to protect the person, but let's call her Lucy.
Okay.
I met Lucy last year. And she was going through domestic violence. She was dating this guy who was married and had a lot of money. In fact, she had been given a car and her flat was being paid for. But then she became a slave. This man could come in whenever he wants. She had no right. If she didn't like anybody that she was talking to, she would come and beat him up and take away the phone for 2 weeks. I mean, she was completely under the control of this man because he said, but I give you the money. I pay for everything. So I have the right to do what I want. And for a while, I kept telling her, you can't live like this. And she would say, but how am I going to survive without this man? Because, for a year, I haven't known how to, even though I have my work, my money, I just buy the things that I need as a woman. I don't save anything because I know he's going to come through for me and do this. And eventually she was able to break out, but she was already so destroyed within. She was already so wounded. But the man felt like he had the right, and she became like a slave. She didn't even have a say. So sometimes it's easy as a woman to look for the money, and you get married to the money, but the man becomes a beast.
Yeah, I think if I can comment on that, I mean, after last week's show, I also did a topic relating to the same on KM Radio. And one of the things that came up was majority of these girls seem to be looking for a father in the man. And for whatever reason, the way they grew up, whatever they experienced, they never had somebody providing as a father maybe, and then they're looking for this. Because anybody who is paying for your flat, buying you a phone, paying for your car, and yet you have a job, that better be your father. That better be your dad. I mean, seriously. Better be your father. Because we are not paying for this. We're not living together. We're not married. Who is that? You know? And so the conversation became, if you're looking for somebody who is going to take care of things that you can, because like you've said, this lady is working, she has a job, but she wants to live in a standard that's higher than what she is able to deliver at this time. So I'd say, first of all, understand where you are, what's your level, what is it? Live within your means, live within your standard. Because again, and Ncharo, I'm sure you can say that this is how it is. When you're in business, for example, it goes up, it goes down. There'll be days you could lose your house. Things happen, you know. If a deal doesn't go the way you thought it was gonna go, things get sick. So then what happens if all you wanted was the money? Yeah. So I feel like majority of the girls want what they believe is going to bring joy, which is a nice car, a nice flat in a nice area, but they haven't worked to the level where they should be living in that place. Because if you have worked to the level where you're living in that place, whether the guy comes or goes, see, I can afford. What is the problem? You see, you know, I can afford. So the problem is when, like I think I mentioned this last time, I had that big Sony, you know, the box TV, the Sony Wega, for a very long time. A very long time. And I was already on radio. So when the other media people come, they're like, like you just buy another TV. I'm like, see, it works. Do I need another TV now? That money that you want me to buy a TV is going into investing somewhere else because I'm on my own. I've got to take care of myself. I want to move from living in this little one-bedroom flat. I want to move here. I had my own dreams for myself. And some of the girls then would say, but see, a man will come and take care of you. So problem. And I'm like, I want him to meet me at a level where even I can prove that this is how I want to be taken care of. This is the life I want. And I am able to achieve this much. Take me to the next level. Let's take each other to the next level. But a lot of the girls, they want what they see people who've worked hard for it get, not knowing that we actually went through the process and there must be a process. The process has to work.
I like it, and I would say amen to that. And maybe just to say, psychologists say a sign of maturity is interdependence. It's not independence and it's not dependence. If you get to a place where you're depending on someone else that you're in a relationship with, that's not healthy. If you're independent and just doing your money by yourself and the other spouse by themselves, and there's no coming together, then that's unhealthy. Maturity of a relationship of a person is seen by the ability to even one day they could be independent, but they choose to depend on each other, interdependent. They say, let's work together to make this grow. Now, the Musharos, we're going to come back to you. I think a lot of people have said you have shared perfect things about your marriage. We want to hear your challenges. What are the challenges you faced around dealing with money? What fights have you had? Emily, I know you can spill the beans. So we're going to hear those challenges shortly. But for now, let me just say, Savo City is a wonderful investment. I think it's been a pleasure to work with you guys, and I want to invest more in the coming days. And I just want to encourage all the listeners today, if you don't have a flat or an investment, you need to talk to these guys. Their details are on our pages, Transform Nations page, but also their Savo page and the details. But Cheryl, before you answer those questions about the fights you've had and challenges, so that people also learn from that, tell us a bit the project that you're doing right now and how people can get those flats and what they're going for.
Wonderful. I think she's much better.
Yeah, so maybe just briefly, as a company, we believe it's very important to have a purpose, and our purpose as a company is to enable investors to achieve financial independence. And that is on the back of our journey. One day, maybe we'll talk about our financial journey and our investments and how Savo came to be. So we would like everybody to become financially independent. So we've structured something that is extremely friendly for every Kenyan to actually start investing, because affordability has always been an issue. Price point has always been an issue. You're always saying, I can't afford to buy a house because I only have X amount. But we've structured something that would enable ideally most Kenyans to be able to invest in an apartment. We have we are currently on our 6th project. It's on Wanye Road, just off Ngong Road. We call it Savo Skywalk. We have studio apartments, what we call junior 1-bedrooms and 1-bedrooms. You can pay as little as 30,000 shillings a month, even less. 27,000 shillings a month. Yes, towards buying a studio apartment. Now with 27,000 shillings, I always say that's money that's for Kaleche. You might agree. That's money for shoes, for handbags. Actually, money we spend in the malls and on our hair. So you don't need to take a bank loan. You can just channel some of that money towards your investment. And for the men, for some men, it's money that they just spend in the bar.
Friday night money.
So so long as you decide that you want to invest, it is very affordable. So if you want to reach us, you can check our website. Savo.ke, and you'll be able to get more information, or you can call one of us. Which number? Sally's number?
We'll share Sally's number.
We'll share Sally's number in a moment. We'll share a number.
We'll also put the number on the. We'll put the number on those of you on Facebook. We'll put the number there and the details for Sally, and feel free to be able to follow that up. But thank you for sharing that, and definitely, Kaleche, let's do this together. And for the men who have a lot of money and you want to spoil your girlfriend, this would be a good investment for them, so that in the future, as eventually you get into a relationship.
You have to add something, and please, if you're buying it for her, put it in her name, because it's a gift. Don't say you're buying and then put in her name. Please, men.
Well, that becomes control now. All right, Emily, what if you remember your biggest fight around finances, or one of the fights you've had?
Okay. There's a video that Charo did recently, and it's called, you called it?
Damn Money Moves.
His damn money moves. And here I would like to sort of move a bit. His damn money moves. Yeah. There's a person in his life, he decided he doesn't want to consult anymore. He wants to make those decisions himself.
Guys, I was in my 30s. I was no longer walking to work. Because the ego has to climb.
Let the lady speak. Let the lady speak.
I think in that season we had a bit of challenges. I mean, he did things like I'd give you an example. He bought, I think, 600 cows. Just he has no experience in taking care of cows. He didn't know where water was gonna come from. He just spent a lot of money. I will not mention the amount, but he spent a lot of money buying cows without doing proper research, and cows died. Literally, all of them died. So that was a difficulty. So I remember in that time, there's a plot of land I wanted somewhere, and I called him when he was whatever looking for the cows, and I told him, I just need this amount of money, please. He said, no, we are buying cows. Yeah, so that was.
I was going to be a billionaire.
With no experience, but okay.
So Emily, how did that go down? What was your reaction?
I think in that season, there's a book I had read about just as a wife, what do you do when your husband wants to make a decision that you don't agree with? And of course, the book said, tell him and tell him again. But if he doesn't listen, let him go ahead and let him make the mistake and let him learn. After that, he will always listen. And that's exactly what happened. So I don't think I really fought. I told him my thoughts. I told him, and many times, I mean, did greenhouses, he dug boreholes, he bought drip liners, he did many things. But I let him do them. Like I told him, but he didn't agree. He went ahead. Of course, he was in his 30s, and he was making quite a bit of money then. So yeah, then he learned. So now he's here.
Humbly, every time until I get a go ahead.
You learned your lesson.
But I must mention that I think Emily was extremely gracious during that season. I can be very convincing, and in my domo, I could paint any picture for her, and I was actually very convinced that we were going to. But the place I couldn't cross, the time I told her, you know what? Now that we have 600 cows, we are going to sell our hostel. We had worked so hard to build a hostel. We're going to sell the hostel to scale this cow business. She told me, over my dead body. And the look on her face was so serious. I think it was my dead body she was talking about.
No. And there's a principle there, I think. There's a principle there that as a woman, you need to speak up. At least be heard. That you oppose something, that you are not happy with it. And if you have voiced your concerns and he goes ahead, what can you do? You can't lock him up in the house. You let him go. Of course, I think the challenge comes. So that's one lesson. As a woman, you need to speak up. But also to realize that as a man, you need to learn your lesson. If you've made a mistake, don't repeat it again. Don't do it again. Emily, what would you do if he did another stupid thing after that and then continue to do it? There's a lady who would say, my husband does everything he does, doesn't work.
Maybe I really believe in myself, which is, I don't know whether that's right. I really believe in myself. I think I will be okay. That I may believe we will be okay. So if he kept, there's nothing else I can do other than telling him. And of course, as a woman, always have your data, have your facts. Sometimes you say instinct, but try and go beyond instincts as a woman and just have your facts. Why no? Why yeah? But after you've done that, I honestly can't sit in this forum and say I'm going to leave him because of making those mistakes. Most likely, I wasn't going to leave him, but that's the faith that I know I will be okay, and he will learn one day. He will learn one day. That's my belief.
And another thing, maybe to add, I think to do anything and do it well, you need mechanism. Intentions are not enough. Intentions are not enough. So when I was making my mistakes, I had a business which I had partners. So to be clear, I was making those decisions with my partners. And my line was simple. When you make your work decisions, I'm not there. This is a work thing. This is not a family thing. You see, but you could see. But after that, the mechanism for me was very simple.
Mm-hmm.
Let family control all the finances. I mean,
Yeah.
very simple mechanism that now even if I wanted, I'm not able to make those moves. If now I'm in charge doing something I really like, I'm given a budget, like, okay, you can do your thing within this limit. You know, this is the limit. Now you play your games. Do your thing, do whatever you're doing, you do, but you're not crossing here. And she has weighed, she has said, okay, this is not, it's not detrimental to us. It's actually useful to society. It's not a business. So even if it can't fail because you're doing it for charity, you know, but this is your limit. So even in whatever I'm doing, I'm not controlling the finances. So in terms of mechanisms, I think any couple requires that for us to be able to move from here to here to here, this is the formula. Yeah, so that we are not starting from first principles every day.
Yeah, that's a very nice one.
I love it. I love it. Thank you very much. Very good comments here. I wish we had time to read all of them. We probably need to finish in another 10 minutes. But Kalechi, as you come in, and someone has said we should be co-hosting this thing together.
I am humbled. Yes, please.
But Stacy is saying, I have noticed, though, nowadays, guys are looking for mature and well-established women who can finance them. Sometimes these are married women or senior spinsters. They're not willing to work at all. They don't want to work hard. Are those the kind of men that women need to be very careful about?
Absolutely, completely careful about. Because I think we worked hard, and we were told work hard and you know, make your own money. There's a generation of women, this age group that I'm in, were told work hard, make your money. You know, you can do it on your own, so that when someone finds you, you're not just depending on him. And that's what our mothers told us. Now, what this young guy has realized is that since this young girl only wants people with money and is therefore not dating me, let me look at these other women who have worked hard, and the men who are their age are afraid of them because they think they are too established to be told anything, right? Remember that thing we talked about where they're afraid of us? So this guy will come. Now, you're in your late 30s or in your 40s, you're single, you have the money, but this 40-year-old guy is not looking to date you because he feels like he can't control you. He can't danganya you with money. It's not going to work. You'll be like, after your money, what next, right? So then this younger guy has all the vibes. He's going to figure out what it is that you need to be told to ingia that box. He's going to use all those nice words. He's going to treat you like, he's going to be a perfect gentleman. But he's going to have made up whatever it is you told him about yourself and what you need and what you find is lacking in a guy, because he's setting you up to be the guy who will now enjoy what you have worked hard for. So there is a breed of men who have seen that as a gap, decided, aha. So let's go with this guy, these women. And these are lazy, most of them are very lazy dudes. They just don't want to work, they want it easy. And so that they can go back to the young girl and say, but now I have money. See, they have money now that you, the older woman, gave them. So there's that kind of trick that's been going on. And you can imagine, I'm here, I'm in my 40s, I'm able to take care of myself. When somebody comes and is speaking to me with the respect and is connecting with me, then I may be very well say, I'm looking for that potential. See that potential we're talking about that you needed to see in someone when you're in your 20s? Now remember, I'm not married. So I'm also still able to see potential. I'm able to say, hey, you know, he's talking about his future. He's talking about things he wants to achieve. You know, I can as well help him get where he's going. It sounds sensible. But there are those who are genuine. I won't say it's all of them, but there are majority who are there to use you to make it their own way so that they can enjoy their own life out there. So this is why I'm very excited about the classes that Pasi, you're doing, because then you're able to teach men how to be able to work for themselves. And everybody needs to know that if you are created, we were created to work, then do your part, find your purpose. But they are there and they are scary. I have met them. I would say I have not.
I think that's a warning to the ladies. You need to run away. We are coming to a close, and Cheryl, we would still like to hear one of the challenges you have had with your wife around money. She talks about her challenge with you. So you need to revenge, as we say in East Africa. But thank you for many of us. Donald Gishane, thank you. See your message there. Nyakato, Mawanda, thank you for this. You say you like this. Great conversation. Many of you saying this is very authentic and good. People laughing at you, Mshara, for all those cows and what you were thinking. They just can't understand what was wrong with you.
I had a dream.
You had a dream that never was. So before we come to a conclusion and just say concluding words, Cheryl, what is the challenge you've had with Emily around money?
I think very fortunately, we have had many challenges in our marriage, but fortunately, I think our challenges about money haven't been too many. Even my season was what, 2 years, maybe a year or 2 years. The thing I found hardest to deal with her was this word no. Everything was no. No. Well, it's an impediment to my endeleo.
You need to speak into that, because I think it happens a lot. I've had many couples say, every time I talk to my wife or to my girlfriend, say, let's invest here. Because we said last week that men take more risks naturally than women do. And when your woman is always saying, no, I don't think this will work. No, I don't think this will work. Some men get to a point where they don't say anymore. They just try it quietly.
Yeah, but see, as I've grown older and become more astute as a businessman and a manager of money, I've really come to appreciate her no's. I think for her, in God we trust. Everybody else must bring data. Yeah. So if you have your facts, right? Yeah. So now I don't even by the
document.
That sounds like a family slogan. Yeah.
So what I've learned is involve her early. You know, because you see, for me, dreams are free. I don't fear dreaming. So when the thing comes to my mind, I don't spend 6 months refining it. No. It comes to my mind on Tuesday. I tell her. Another one comes on Thursday. I tell her, and then we begin to work it out slowly. And then, fortunately, over time, even our financial matters have moved away from me to us, from her to us. Now they have moved away from us to Savo, to the entire system. We are now involving the entire team. So there's really no boundary between our personal lives and the company life. It's very blurred. Our firstborn son already works in the company. We're trying to teach these young people. One of the things that scares me the most is that the young girls in the office will be extremely rich when they are very young. So the issue you're talking about Kaleche, I don't know how they get men.
Because they're investing.
And you are rich.
Yeah, they are.
They're investing, I mean, thoroughly. So I'm not sure how that works, but anyway, I digress. But having a team of people to work together towards making decisions of finances, then you reduce the chances of making the wrong mistakes. And then having grown older, I know the rubbish not to try. I am good in 1 or 2 things, I just stick there. One of the things I've learned to be good at is leadership, and my leadership is to delegate. So then I can spend more time motivating people, and they'll make good decisions.
Okay, so no more cows. No more cows. That's not
if we're ever to do cows, they'll have been researched very well.
No, this is interesting. I think guys have gotten that statement. But I think what we are saying, if relationships are going to work, we need to be open with each other. Very good statements here. Thank you. Someone is saying they are listening in from Kampala. Thank you very much. We are glad to have you. That is Mushebe Dixon. Greetings as well. And thank you everyone for joining us. Don't worry about the men. Michelle, you're saying you're scared. The women in your office are getting rich too early. Send them to Ezra and they will meet men from Man Enough, and that will work.
I'm sure some of them are watching. So
we need them there.
All right, unfortunately, we need to close this. It's been excellent conversation. Kalechi Mumo, what are your last comments and advice as we talk about love and money?
I think I'd say that ladies, do not be afraid to build yourselves. It is a very sweet thing, like you've had Emily and I share. It is very, very important that you remember to build yourself. But that doesn't mean that you should not respect the man who will come into your life because you think you have made it. You can be stronger together, like Leonard and Emily have shown us. You're stronger together. Learn what your weaknesses are early, learn what your strengths are, and then you'll be able to look for somebody who can complement you. So your search for a partner then becomes more detailed and more refined because of knowing who you are. Yeah, so that's really, I think, where my point would be tonight.
Thank you very much. And someone is saying they'll come to find the men at Man Enough. So let's talk about that. And men, make sure you sign up for Man Enough so that you can learn the principles that you need to manage your money well. All right, Emily, last words or advice?
Yes, I think I'll just echo what Kalechi said. As ladies, a man is not your financial plan. If you forget anything else I said today, please remember that a man cannot be your financial plan. These young ladies that Kalechi is talking about, I think they're brilliant, but they just have like a wrong paradigm. And if they can change their paradigm to believe that they can, they have the brains, they have the ability, and all they need to do is to go out there and work hard. And they will become better because they'll be more fulfilled, they'll be respected, they'll earn a seat on the table, so to speak. So ladies, please go out there and work. Let no man be your financial plan. It doesn't work. And once you found that man, love them, be their friend, be a good wife. Try to be Proverbs 31 woman. And then, you know, everything else will be just good fruits from that.
Amen. Amen. Thank you. Many of you saying this has been exciting. Wonderful, very good comments. Cheryl, the last comments before we close.
Yeah, let me address the men. I have studied men in their 60s and 70s for a long period of time. And I think financial prudence is a matter of dignity, especially as you grow older. For the young men especially, you are a jogo in your 30s. In your 20s, you're broke. In your 30s, you're making some money and you have a lot of energy. That's when you feel like a jogo. The women are clever. They work consistently and they improve consistently. By the time we're in their 40s, I'm going towards 50 now, a lot of my male friends are struggling financially and their wives are doing much better than they are. So if you don't depanga early, you find in your 40s, the table will stand. Now, woe unto you if you get to your 60s and you're not financially independent. It is the children who are providing, and the children, when they come home, they give money to who? To mom. Because you go to the village bar and drink it. You find yourself in your 60s, you are sick, you have prostrates, you have pressure, you are broke. Yeah, so one of the ways to guard yourself against that, form a partnership. Get a strong woman. Don't get someone who can control one out. Why? Get a strong woman who you grow together. Even when you lose energy, she's there to give you advice. And then if the two of you are okay, you don't have to worry about the children taking care of you. You'll be sorting yourself out much
better. Wow.
Wow, excellent. Good conversation. It feels like we could continue for another 1 hour.
I know, right?
But let me close by reading a verse from Proverbs chapter 11, verse 3 and 4. It says, the integrity of the upright guides them, but the crookedness of the treacherous destroys them. Riches do not profit in the day of wrath, but righteousness delivers from death. I think what I want you to remember from that scripture is that character comes before money. When it comes to relationships, character is worth a lot more than billions of money. So build your own character so that you manage your money well and then manage your relationships as well. And if you're praying for a date, look for character first. Because money without character is a recipe for destruction. And so make sure you follow character first. And then money can be made when the two of you are people of character and you are looking to make it right. Well, we wish all the best to all of you. Couples, don't fight and kill each other because of money. It's not worth it. Your lives and loving one another is a lot more important than any money you could make, because the rich also cry. So make sure you focus on your relationship first. And if you need help, find help. For the others who are looking out for good men, let's be the kind of men that the women would want to spend their lives with. And women, let's not be gold diggers. Let's not just follow after money. Let's follow after a good man. And to all of you, let's enjoy our lives and relationships and put God first. May the Lord bless you, and we wish you all the best. Leonard and Emily, we are so grateful. I hope many people will book in their flats. They can come for a site visit and begin to book in their flat. We want to encourage all of you to do that. And Kalicha, thank you very much. You're going to be back here now that you've been suggested to be a co-host.
Well, we need to see the document.
The data. In God we trust, but data we have. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. And it was really nice to meet the Macharos. It's been an amazing show. Thank you, Pastor S. This has been really, really good.
Thanks, Kalicha, and I'll take you for the site visit.
Fantastic. I look forward.
Pastor S, I must thank you because a lot of the guys who watch this are actually coming to site. So I think Asante Sana, and for everyone who is coming, for those who have not, just come and see.
Or even just watch Fire Friday.
And see.
All right, thank you, everyone. Have a good night, and thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Good night. Thank you.
All right, bye. Bye.